Welcome to episode number 7 of my Road to DipWSET video analysis. My plan is to taste 12 amazing wines over 12 weeks according to the WSET systematic approach to tasting. Using this system will allow me to assess the wine's quality as well as its readiness for drinking. You might already know that I've recently created a crowdfunding campaign on BackaBuddy to help me source the funds needed for me to apply for the Diploma in Wines through WSET. The diploma is an expert wine course which will assist me in potentially realizing a dream of mine of one day becoming a master of wine. If you'd like to make a donation, please follow the links that I provide across all my social media accounts. I'd like to extend a massive thank you to everybody that's already made a contribution to my campaign and to all these amazing producers who have been generous enough to sponsor the wines for these videos. A quick reminder to everybody watching this video, every single wine that I try over this 12-week period will be included in a mixed case of 12, which could be yours. All you need to do is make a contribution to my educational campaign. This being said, how's about to introduce wine number 7, the Painted Wolf Guillermo Pinotage 2018. Pinotage is uniquely South African. It's a cultivar which was born in Stellenbosch, South Africa via the crossing of Pinot Noir and Cinsault, otherwise known as Hermitage. Hence the name Pinotage. When I speak about crossings, I mean the cross-pollination of two different grape varietals, giving way to a brand new cultivar unknown to our palates and to the rest of the wine world. The father of Pinotage was Professor Abraham Perel, the very first professor of viticulture at the University of Stellenbosch. The successful crossing of Pinot Noir and Cinsault happened in 1925 due to Prof wanting to create a grape varietal which was nearly as delicious as Pinot Noir but could grow as well as Cinsault under the extreme conditions of the South African climate. Wine enthusiasts and professionals all around the world are very opinionated when it comes down to Pinotage. And all I have to say is that Pinotage is here to stay. It's a creation that we should all feel proud to be associated with. Pinotage is known to be bold, powerful, resilient, unique, as well as somewhat misunderstood, much like all of us and the land that we stay in, beautiful South Africa. So like I've said before, stop hating and start appreciating. The winemaker and owner of Painted Wolf Wines, Jeremy Borg, was actually born in Zimbabwe. Jeremy said that when he was growing up, he was consistently surrounded by alcohol and some amazing wines because it played an important role in those family social occasions. Jeremy also had a friend whose father was a wine connoisseur who would bring out some amazing wines from all around the world whenever Jeremy decided to visit for Sunday lunch. Upon Jeremy finishing matric, he was treated to a 1962 Chateau Margaux. Chateau Margaux is one of the most prestigious chateaux based on the left side of Bordeaux, France. He said to me that the wine was nearly as good as the first time he listened to the Sex Pistols. Jeremy has a keen interest towards the culinary arts, and after he studied economics at a university in the UK, he got himself a job at a hotel and slowly started working his way into the kitchen. After a few years, Jeremy moved to the United States where he went from kitchen to kitchen, generating a world of knowledge which led to him opening up his own restaurant in San Francisco. The restaurant would go on to be a success, but due to the high physical as well as mental demand, Jeremy had to take a step back and reevaluate what was really important to him. He then got the opportunity to work as a cellar hand in a winery in California. It was at this stage where Jeremy slowly started entertaining the thought of him possibly producing his own wine one day. He then came down to South Africa for holiday and met up with his sister, who introduced him to safari owners who at the time were looking for a cook for the camp in Botswana. Jeremy couldn't resist the thought of working in the bush and he accepted the offer. This is where Jeremy would meet Emma, his now business partner as well as wife. The idea behind Painted Wolf comes from a drunken pact made by Jeremy and Emma on their wedding night. They made a promise to each other that one day they'd create a wine company specifically designed to raise money for the remarkable and endangered African wild dogs, also known as painted wolves. They then returned to South Africa and Jeremy found himself a job at Fairview where he worked for 9 years. He then crossed paths with a gentleman by the name of Billy Hughes. Billy is an Argentinian visionary who bought a wheat farm called Casteelsuch in between Malmesbury and Maritzburg. Billy would then go on to replanting that whole property with vineyard and then selling the grapes onto producers around the Western Cape. And this would then turn that pact between Jeremy and Emma into a reality, giving birth to Painted Wolf Wines in 2005. Billy in turn would end up being one of Jeremy's very first investors, so Jeremy named this wine after him. Guillermo is actually Billy's Spanish given name. I would imagine that Jeremy did this as a small token of gratitude towards Billy, who believed in Jeremy's dreams. The Pinotage for Guillermo was first harvested in 2007 from Castilsig. Since then, the vineyard's gone from strength to strength, producing world-class wine from year to year. For somebody without a formal wine degree, Jeremy, through his hard work, his passion and his dedication, has found a place for himself amongst the top winemakers in South Africa. The one thing I truly enjoy about him is that he's not trying to be anything he's not, and this really shines through his wines. So now I think that's enough from me. How's about we crack on with that evaluation? Okay, so now that I've evaluated the wine, I truly believe that there's no other wine in this world that'll get you feeling more patriotic than a good old Pinotage. It's a run straight, tackle low kind of wine that's going to get your blood flowing like never before. Okay, so let's take a look at my notes. For the color, I said that the wine is deep ruby. On the nose, the wine has a pronounced aroma intensity. I could pick out aromas of black plum, as well as prunes, ripe red apple, cranberries with elements of vanilla and dark chocolate. Because we find primary as well as secondary aromas on the nose, the wine is a developing wine. What Jeremy does incredibly well with the Guillermo is that he doesn't interfere too much in the production process, and this allows the Pinotage to show off its true varietal character. The wine is super expressive and carries layers and layers of aroma. On the palate, I said that the wine is dry, it carries a high natural acidity, has a medium plus tannic structure which is very fine on the palate, a medium alcohol, and has a medium plus body. On the palate, I gave the wine a medium plus flavor intensity. I could pick out flavors of red apple, black currant, as well as cooked black cherries, prunes, cloves, and a hint of toasted coconut. The complexity and the texture that I find on the palate, as well as that intensity of fruit and also toasted notes, will come from the fact that Jeremy is exposing the wine to both American and French oak. French oak imparts more subtle flavors as well as a finer tannin structure to the wine, where American oak will impart stronger as well as sweeter aromas and flavors. The wine also carries a long, succulent, as well as structured finish. When it comes to the assessment of quality, we use the Blick system, where we rate the wine on its balance, its length, the intensity of the wine, as well as the complexity. For the Guillermo Pinotage, I scored a point for balance, a point for length, a point for intensity, and then half a point for complexity, therefore giving the Guillermo Pinotage from Painted Wolf Wines an overall quality assessment of very good, verging on outstanding. In the past, Pinotage was being overproduced as a commercial wine, giving way to wines which were unattractive, very thin and very low in quality. Over the last 15 or so years, winemakers in South Africa have taken extra special care when it comes down to winemaking practices and also controlling the yields of the Pinotage, giving way to a unique varietal with a flavor concentration which can hardly be matched by other grape varietals around the world. For the readiness of drinking, I said the Guillermo drinks well now, but has potential for further aging. I'd like to encourage everybody watching this video to please go on over to the Painted Wolf website and see what it is that you can do to help with the conservation of African wild dogs. You can also play a part by simply purchasing a Painted Wolf wine. With every bottle sold, a percentage of that goes into the safekeeping of these endangered animals. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the conclusion of episode number 7. I really can't believe that we've come this far. There's 5 more wines to go, so get it cracking with those donations and stand a chance to win a mixed case of 12 amazing wines. I'd also like to stress the fact that there's no standard when it comes to your enjoyment for wine. And remember, be kind and drink good wine. Now that's tasty.